And a happy Monday to you. It is the 10th of November, 2025. And no, I'm not Dan Kuntz. I'm Eric Granstrom filling in for Dan today. He's a little bit under the weather, as they say. Of course, aren't we all actually under the weather at some point of the day? Yes. So I'll be filling in till 8 o'clock this morning here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Coming up on the program, of course, we've got your latest local news just around the corner, which includes some election results. So if you missed that on Friday, we'll recount those for you. Not literally, but figuratively, coming up here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I've got a ton of sports to go over, including a big win for the Seahawks yesterday over the Arizona Cardinals. And the last half of the program, we will have from Serve Wenatchee Valley, Mike Malmin coming in to get us up to date on what's happening after their big flood they had here last month. We'll do that on the way, as well as the weather. But before we do the weather, let's take a look around the valley with our Valley View cameras. And of course, we always start off, well, actually, we're going to start off here with a look at, this is McNeil Canyon? No. Oh, we're looking the other way. Oh, okay. All right. This is our our tower camera up above, high above the Wenatchee Valley. Taking a look down this morning as we look upon the Columbia River. And you can see there's a little high overcast. We should get some sunshine later in our day today. We'll talk about that with our forecast coming up. So that's first camera shot as Malcolm throws me a curveball. Now we're at McNeil Canyon, right? Okay, yes, we're looking across. You can just make out a little bit of Lake Chelan there in the distance. It's kind of center right, if you will, on our camera shot this morning as we look off to the west. And, you know, most of our weather comes from the west, and you can see some partial cloudiness there. So we'll hopefully avoid the rains today, but we do have rain in the forecast for later on this week. All right, camera 3 will take us to a view of the Columbia River once again, or Lake Aniat, as they like to call it. This is looking from Arrondo Rock back towards Wenatchee, and you can see Turtle Rock in the middle of your screen there. And why do they call it Turtle Rock? Because apparently somebody thought it looked like a turtle. So there you go. That's camera 3. Camera 4 will take us to Tumwater to take a look at the lovely Ville of Leavenworth this morning. A quiet Monday as we get going in the Bavarian village. Can you wait? Listen, Alpenhorn, can you hear it? Nope, couldn't hear it. So there you go. That's a look around our Valley View cameras this morning. And oh, there's the more familiar view of taking a look down at the Wenatchee Valley. And I always like to see that reflection on the Columbia River. I do not see any ripples on the river. That means the winds are calm this morning. Now, as far as our weather is concerned for the week, well, changes are a-coming, as they say. Early week here today, tomorrow, some sun mixed with clouds, maybe a few light showers, but should be mostly dry with temperatures in the 40s and 50s, a little bit of patchy morning fog as well. That's for Monday, Tuesday, but then we get to the middle of the week towards the end, and here comes a new system moving in with rain and mountain snow. In fact, the passes expect to get maybe quite a bit of snow, and with this system that's moving in, we'll get some gusty winds, especially on Thursday. High temperatures actually for the lower elevations should be in the 60s on the first part of that as far as middle week, and then we get to the Thursday, Friday forecast, and then temperatures plunging all the way down into the 40s for the highs. How about that? Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is brought to you by Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, where comfort, care, and community come together. Well, you see that mixed bag here today, and that's pretty accurate to what we're going to get. 54 the expected high today, with some clouds, a little sun, a little rain, so a little bit of everything thrown in there for this 10th day of November. 39 the overnight low tonight, so you might have some ice on the windshield tomorrow morning as you get up. And some people don't have to work tomorrow because it is Veterans Day tomorrow. Thank you for your service. Mostly sunny skies for our Veterans Day parade, which starts in downtown Wenatchee at 11 o'clock tomorrow. 53 for the high tomorrow. 40 the overnight low on Tuesday night as we swing into Wednesday. And here comes some of the changes later in the day. They say about an 80% chance of rain on Wednesday. That's going to be to the latter stages of the day with a little sunshine early. 52 for the high on Wednesday. 43 the overnight low as those clouds will come in and kind of keep things a little warm in the overnight hours. And then lots of rain expected on Thursday with an 80% chance of which, and might get some more accumulations. I think we're still behind as far as our yearly totals, but we might catch that up here there this week and by the end of the weekend. 53 the high on Thursday as we get through the day before the weekend. Some partly sunny skies on Friday, some rain in the afternoon. 51 for the high on Friday, the upper 30s for the overnight lows as we stretch into the weekend. Saturday forecast, cloudy skies and rain. Same story for Sunday. The rain chance at about 60% on Saturday and Sunday. So I hope you enjoyed fairly dry weather last weekend because we're not going to see it for a while, especially as we get into the latter part of this week and the weekend. Again, thanks to Colonial Vista for sponsoring our weather here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It is 5 minutes past the hour. We'll take a break and get you the latest local news coming up. Sports news on the way. Mike McNaughty has an opinion, and also Mike Malmin from Serve Wenatchee Valley will be in to talk about the update on what's happening after their flood at Serve Wenatchee Valley. It's all right here on a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular, family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. Warm up with one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. I've been helping people for nearly a decade understand their Medicare options. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand coverage options so you can feel confident in your Medicare decision. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or see me at my office in Wenatchee with easy parking and entrance.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Eight minutes past the hour here on a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. In for Dan Kuntz, I'm Eric Granstrom on this 10th day of November 2025. I forgot to mention when we were talking about the weather forecast. Right now, 42 degrees in downtown Wenatchee as we check your latest local news this morning. The proposal to raise the property tax levy supporting Eastmont Metro Parks and the recreation has decisively failed. Latest ballot counts from the election that closed Tuesday saw 54% of Park District residents turning down the measure, which would have bumped the level rate to 22 cents per $1,000 of assessed value, up from its current rate of 15 cents. The existing levy rate has not allowed the park budget to keep pace with inflation, and now there's a risk the governing board might have to take steps like closing the Eastmont Aquatic Center and making steep cuts to other programs. Park supporters say they'll ask the board to put the lid lift on a future ballot. The measure needs only a simple majority vote in order to pass. Well, Grant County's coroner says the man who died in the Grant County Jail on Tuesday passed away from natural causes. Coroner Craig Morrison identified the man as 54-year-old Ruben Trevino. Trevino was found unresponsive in a holding cell set aside for inmates undergoing crisis. He had been arrested October 31st by Moses Lake Police police on suspicion of theft and stolen property. Morrison said an autopsy completed Thursday identified the cause of death as peritonitis due to ulcer in the small intestine. That would make Trevino the second man to die in the Ephrata facility from peritonitis within a year. Last December, 31-year-old Richard Lambert of Moses Lake was found deceased in a jail custody with similar causes. The investigation into Trevino's death does continue. The Wenatchee City Council on Thursday adopted a criminal justice sales tax, adding a 0.1% sales tax and use tax on business conducted within the city. Changes in state law allow municipalities to approve a sales tax for law enforcement purposes, such as police hiring, jail housing, and legal services. This tax would amount to about a $20 per yearly cost for the average household. City Finance Director Brad Posenjak told the council Wenatchee is facing rising prices for some of its justice-related service contracts.
The main issue is that our regular revenues just can't keep up with our increase in a couple large contracts, large service contracts. One of those contracts is the jail contract. The Chelan County would like the city to increase our jail contract from $1.6 million to $2.7 million. Almost a 70% increase. Our regular revenue increases that are around 5%, 4 or 5%, just can't handle those. Also, our public defender contract. So with all of these things, we do need to come up with a long-term solution, which is where the criminal justice sales tax comes in, so that we can maintain our current level of service.
I hate taxes. I don't like increasing them, but in this instance, I would vote yes on this simply because we can't afford to take a step backwards in our public safety. And these costs are not going to go away. It's only probably going to continue to grow.
In that same meeting, the council also voted to raise property taxes in 2026 by 1 full percentage point. The city estimates it'll collect approximately $5.2 million in general revenue over the next year. Mayor Aaron McCardle has appointed Laura McClune to Chelan's open city administrative position. The decision comes days after a public recruitment event where community members could meet with the finalists and provide inputs. McCallune, who was most recently the city administrator in Grand Island, Nebraska, was previously the city attorney in Pullman and contracted with the Spokane Transit Authority. In Chelan, she replaces Wade Ferris, who announced his retirement in April, who began work with the city in 2020. The two other finalists for the position were City HR and Communications Director Chad Coltman and longtime Pierce County public servant Roxanne Miles. 60 leaders from the Wenatchee Valley joined the Chelan-Douglas Land Trust Wenatchee River Institute and Colville Confederated Tribes for a retreat to foster connections with indigenous communities. The two-day retreat, called Moving Beyond Land Acknowledgement, was held at Sleeping Lady Mountain Resort. Participants were from nonprofits, school districts, and municipalities, including Wenatchee School District Superintendent Corey Callahar and Mayor Mike Poyer. It was led by educator Lynn Palmentier-Holder, who was accompanied by trainers John Cirrus, also Darnell Sam and Kiana Sam, all of whom work in traditional territories for the Colville tribes. The goals of the event were to bridge the gap between the organizations and indigenous communities and promote cultural humility and exclusion leadership. A Wenatchee Valley man whose child was exposed to illicit drugs in the family home 2 years ago was sentenced this week to a year plus 1 day in jail. Michael Ward Holmes was not charged with endangering his 1-year-old who suffered medical distress after allegedly ingesting fentanyl in September 2023. However, during the investigation, police found an extensive psilocybin mushroom farming operation in the Wenatchee household. Holmes, who's now 31, pleaded guilty last month to manufacturing a controlled substance. And on Monday, Judge Robert Jordan sentenced him to 12 months and a day plus a year's probation. Jordan turned down a request to sentence Holmes to the state drug offender sentencing alternative, which would have allowed him to undergo drug addiction treatment instead of incarceration. 14 minutes past the hour here on a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Weather forecast today looking for partly cloudy skies, a little bit of rain, a little bit of sun, a little bit of everything today with temperatures in the 50s. We're at 42 in downtown Wenatchee. We'll take a quick break, come back. Sports news is on your way next.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. Tour moseslake.com and start your adventure today.
Birthdays, office gatherings, and team parties taste better at Abby's. From our legendary lunch and Thirsty Thursday to our monthly Giant Special, there's always a reason to gather. Family-owned Abby's, your legendary pizza tradition. You asked, and it's back at Abby's. 2 legends, 1 pizza. Half pepperoni, half big Hawaiian. All delicious. It's mouthwatering, loaded with toppings, and happily feeds a family. Order at abbys.com before this legend disappears.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Yeah, we'll call it partly cloudy skies in downtown Wenatchee. 42 degrees on this back-to-work Monday. Eric Granstrom filling in for Dan Coots. With sports news, the Seahawks left little doubt that they're for real this season by jumping out to a 35-0 lead over Arizona, going on for a 44-22 victory in Seattle yesterday. DeMarcus Lawrence had 2 scoop-and-score touchdowns on sacked fumbles by Jacoby Brissett in the first half as the Seahawks improved to 7-2 on the season. D-Law, as they call him, said it's how they drew it up.
Shoot, first and foremost, all glory to God. I mean, shoot, you can't, draw that up. I mean, T-Knight did a great job, running the play exactly how Coach McDonald drew it up. And, I was the lucky recipient of the 2 forced fumbles. So I take it every day. I definitely can see we building something special. It's some things that we can clean up and get better at, but, that's a testament to, the detail that we put into our work each and every day. Yeah, man, I mean, the sky's the limit from here. It's just all about us, continuing to come together with our camaraderie, and taking it one day at a time.
Now, Seattle did get a little sloppy in the second half with a couple of turnovers, but Coach Mike McDonald was pleased with the overall performance in the win.
Great win at home in the division. Obviously a great start to the game. Offense going down, scoring a touchdown. Defense coming back, getting off to a significant lead there. Just it was a little funky there in the second half. It was just a kind of a weird game that all the things that happened, all the takeaways down in our area. I thought our defense played really hard. They came up big in some of those short area drives. And then it was great to put the game away on offense with some of those, those 4-minute drives, running the ball and closing it out. So plenty of stuff to work on. plenty of stuff to work on, operationally. I thought we did some good things, but some things we want to, be able to address. And but look, anytime a win in our league is hard. It's hard to get to, and it takes everybody. It took all 70 today. We had a lot of guys. We had some guys go down this week, as you guys are well aware, and we had guys step up, and nobody flinched, and it took all 70 again. So that's how we roll. And you attribute it just our guys to, dedicating how we play our style of football all the time, no matter the situation. And that's what we're chasing. So when we do it right, we play really good ball.
Sam Darnold was 10 of 12 passing for 178 yards, a touchdown, an interception, also had a fumble. Seattle heads for L.A. to face the Rams this Sunday in a battle for the top spots in the NFC West. The Rams dominated the 49ers yesterday as Matthew Stafford threw for 4 touchdown passes to lead L.A. over San Francisco. 42-26, Rams and Seahawks tied atop the division at 7-2. Wisconsin scored 10 unanswered points in the third quarter to beat Washington 13-10 Saturday in college football. Montana edged Eastern Washington 29-24. Taylor Justice rushed for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Central Washington rolled up over 400 yards rushing in a 73-7 win over Sul Ross State. Washington State had a bye. Well, the Seattle Kraken went 1-1 in NHL play over the weekend. Shane Wright scored the game winner in overtime Saturday in St. Louis as the Kraken came out on top over the Blues 4-3. Seattle was in Dallas Sunday to face the Stars and couldn't overcome some weary legs in back-to-back games, falling 2-1. Seattle's back home tomorrow night to host Columbus. That'll be at 7 o'clock on Kong TV. Well, the Wenatchee Wild have won back-to-back games for the first time this season in Western Hockey League play. Wenatchee beat Portland on Friday night in the Wolves' Den 6-3. Austin Drade had the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
On the end boards, Rios. Nowhere to go with it. Tapped out right hash mark for Chapush. Wrist shot. Sharp angle. Save. Rebound. They score. Rios taps that one home. He's on the scoreboard. Brown loses this one. 3-on-1 come the Wild. Rios over the blue line. Waits. Wrist shot. He scores. Short side. Stick side. Sean Rios. 2-0. 16 seconds remaining in the 4-on-3. Chance from the right circle and a save made. Cleared back out, right point for Toll. Feints on a slap shot. Over to Kraft. Wrist shot, he scores! Portland still trapped in their own end. 4 minutes played in the third. Wild up 3-0. Turnaround toss, right circle. Rio sent that one wide. He's looking for hats now. Far face-off dot. That one trickles through. They score! Knocked down in the corner is Duguay. Portland still with it. Miller across. One-timer free. They score from the left wing face-off dot, and it's a power play goal for the Winterhawks to cut it to 4-1. Right face-off circle. Chased into the corner with Nathan Brown. Feeds it out front. One-timer. Vanek. He scores again. Out of the zone first, though. 22 seconds left on the power play. 5-on-3. It'll go to a 5-on-4 as McLaughlin ropes it down the zone and into the back of the net. It's power play goal. It's 5-2. McLaughlin smashes a pass right wing. Stolen. Cleared. Down the ice. Just wide. Long bounce. Here's Campion. His first goal as a Wenatchee Wild defenseman. Pushnichka rips it from the left wing face-off circle. It is in the net. He missed it high. Tversnik had it bounce off the top of the net, off the back, and trickle in. And the Wenatchee Wild, in front of the families, win this one decisively.
Yeah, a good win on Friday night. Saturday was Military Appreciation Night at the Town Toyota Center. As Prince George came calling, Wild were able to send a huge crowd home happy with a 2-1 win.
Throws it wide of the net, looking for a Karen Saab, trying to jam in the long bounce. Wouldn't go for him. Wenatchee's looking for those long bounces, see if they can get something through. They get something through from the right wing. They score. Grosskloss with the throw. Did Saab get a touch on it at the end? Wenatchee with a 1-0 lead. Saab sends it the rest of the way. Gonna fly this one back out. Stolen, swept back in with Fluker. On the end wall. Drop back for Saab. 360 out front, they score! Grosskloss returns the favor. It's 2-0. Point held in by Carls, batted out of the zone by Rios. Everybody out for the Cougars with 12:50 to go in the third. They trail by 2. Trying to grind it to the net. Ash has it. Conway spins around. He's got possession of the puck. The red light is not on, and another outstanding save. Cal Conway does it again. Rimmed all the way through. Half wall to half wall. Up top for Anisimov. Left wing. Return to Anisimov. Wrist shot down the slot. Save made. Tumbling over to his left. Conway gets some help, but lost the paddle. Playing without a stick. Anisimov. Right wing, one-timer, they score. Thrown on, right circle, blocked wide, down to 7 seconds to play. On the end boards, looking for a shot, chased along the wall, Such, down to 2, down to 1, it's cleared away! Wenatchee knocks off the BC division-leading Prince George Cougars. Cal Conway, mercy! 36 saves, his first win in the Western Hockey League.
Some excitement at the Town Toyota Center. Wenatchee plays at Seattle tomorrow night before traveling to Portland Friday and hosting Prince Albert Saturday. That will be at 6 o'clock. Well, recapping the weekend of prep playoff football, Michael Mahica scored 2 touchdowns on the ground, but Ryan Branham was intercepted twice as Wenatchee saw its season come to an end at Chiawana, falling 35-14. Sumner rushed for 232 yards and scored 5 touchdowns on the ground to end Eastmont's season 62-0. Elijah Burns rushed for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Brady Jay threw for 5 touchdowns. Moses Lake held off Issaquah 49-35 Saturday. The Mavericks will host Bothell in the first round of the State 4A tournament. That'll be Saturday at 1 o'clock. Royal earned the number 1 seed and Cashmere number 2 in the State 1A tournament. The Knights cruised by Kingsway Christian Friday 69-0. Ryland Handmaker threw for 3 touchdowns in Cashmere's 64-0 win over Klamath Saturday. Both the Knights and Bulldogs have first-round byes in the State 1A tournament. Omak rolled over Colville 42-16. The Pioneers will travel to Rochester for a first-round game with a date and time to be determined. 3 of the 5 CWAC teams advanced to the State 2A tournament. Prosser beat North Mason Friday 42-14. Othello ran by Renton Saturday 48-6. East Valley shut out Rogers of Spokane 56-0. Freitas' season came to an end with a 38-14 loss to Steilacoom. Sela also saw its season end Saturday with a 45-0 loss at Seaholm. Okanagan and Liberty Bell advanced from our 2B schools in north central Washington. Bulldogs whipped Warden Friday 50-0. Liberty Bell walloped White Swan. That score is correct, 86-22. Okanagan will host Reardon in a first-round game of the State 2B tournament. Friday night at 7, Liberty Bell will travel to Unalaska Saturday at 1. Tonasket fell to Cle Elum 38-6, while Columbia Burbank beat Brewster 29-0. Tigers and Bears seasons came to an end. Manson finished its season on a winning note Friday, downing Medical Lake 13-0 in a tiebreaker playoff Saturday in Lake Roosevelt. Etihad topped Oroville 8-0 before falling to Moses Lake Christian 14-8. Lions will play a first-round State 1B playoff game at Wahkiakum Friday night at 7 o'clock. Etihad's first-round game will be at Elmira Cooley Heartline Saturday at 1 p.m. Cashmere claimed a girls' district soccer title over the weekend, while Moses Lake advanced to the State 4A tournament. The Mavericks ended Eastmont's season Saturday at Wildcat Stadium 3-0. Moses Lake will play at Issaquah in the first round Friday at 6 o'clock. Cashmere edged Natchez Valley 1-0 to win the District 5 1A tournament. The Bulldogs will host Tenino in the first round of the State 1A tournament. That'll be Friday night at 6 p.m. Cascade also advanced to the state with a 6-1 win over Riverside. The Kodiaks will travel to Blaine to face Linden Christian Saturday at 1 p.m. Cle Elum edged Brewster 2-1 to take the District 5 1B 2B championship Saturday. The Bears will host Lopez Island in the first round of the State 1B 2B tournament Saturday at 2 o'clock. Pateros beat Liberty Bell in a seeding game 3-1. The Nannies will face Freeman in the first round. The Mountain Lions will play Cross Point Christian in the first round. Okanagan beat Highland 2-1. The Bulldogs will play Napa Vine in the first round. All those dates and times to be determined. Well, Wenatchee Wenatchee is once again the District 5 4A volleyball champions. Congratulations to the Panthers. They swept Davis for the district title Saturday. Davis also advanced to state with a 3-1 win over West Valley. Tonasket edged Manson for the District 5 2B tournament title in Moses Lake 3-2. Brewster had its season come to an end, falling to Riverview 3-0. Unfortunately, Manson and Tonasket wound up in the same bracket for the state 2B tournament, so that'll begin Wednesday in the Sun Dome. The Trojans will face LaConner in the first round at 9:45, while the Tigers take on Toledo. Now, if they both win, they'll face each other in the quarterfinals Wednesday night at 7:15. Etihad, Waterville, Mansfield, and Silk Lake also play in the state 1B tournament that also starts in Yakima on Wednesday. Chelan heads to the state 1A volleyball tournament after winning the district championship Saturday over Cashmere 3-1. Goats are the #1 seed and will face Bear Creek School Friday at 10:45. Cashmere received a #5 seed and will face Omak in the first round Friday at 9 a.m. Pioneers advanced with a Saturday sweep of Medical Lake to get to the state tournament. That's a lot of sports. So before we get to the obscure holiday, before we go any further here on Wake Up Wenatchee, let's do the morning slurp, because I need a drink. You might need one as well. So here we go. Boy, Malcolm, these microphones are really good. Not only did you hear the slurp, but you heard the swallow. Yeah. All right. So what do we got? Oh, obscure holiday. Okay. Today is National Forget-Me-Not Day. The tiny little blue flowers you can find in the wild fields have much in the way of symbolism. They are mostly associated with the memory of loved ones during rough times. And for people like disabled veterans, more often than not, they're usually forgotten. This day and age, Forget-Me-Not Day aims to change the way people view disabled veterans and help people remember again. Forget-Me-Not Day goes back to the times of World War I, when American soldiers would come back from war wounded. These veterans at the time were coming back at rates far higher than the government had expected, and there were very few organizations and services available for those wounded in the war. Now, because of the massive influx of wounded warriors, Judge Robert S. Marks, a decorated World War I soldier, founded Forget-Me-Not Day to help remind people of the sacrifices those made during World War I, raising funds for disabled veterans through selling Forget-Me-Nots. After returning from the war, he helped establish the Disabled American Veterans Foundation in 1920, which annually celebrates the holiday through the annual sale of Forget-Me-Nots in annual caucuses ever since. Now, people on this day remember the veterans who lost their lives in honor of disabled veterans who still live to this day. People thank these veterans through various means, sending thank you letters, spending time with them to learn about their life stories, and treating them with the respect they deserve. People also take the time to purchase Forget-Me-Nots and give them to their loved ones and veterans. Forget-Me-Not Day aims at encouraging people to remember the service those have gone through during a time that was believed to be the war to end all wars. Today is Forget-Me-Not Day. Today is the 10th of November. It was on this day in 1775. 250 years ago, United States Marine Corps is founded at Tun Tavern in Philadelphia by Samuel Nicholas. Now, according to tradition, Tun Tavern was where the United States Marines held their first recruitment drive. On November 10, 1775, the Second Continental Congress commissioned the innkeeper Samuel Nicholas to raise 2 battalions of Marines in Philadelphia. The tavern's manager, Robert Mullen, was the chief Marine recruiter. The First Continental Marine Company was composed of 100 Rhode Island, commanded by Captain Nicholas. So there you go. Happy birthday to the Marine Corps today. It was on this date in 1954, 71 years ago, the 179th anniversary of the founding of the Marine Corps. U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower dedicates the USMC War Memorial, Iwo Jima Memorial, in Arlington Ridge Park in Arlington. That's in Virginia, of course. President John F. Kennedy issued a proclamation on June 12, 1961, that a flag of the United States should fly over the memorial 24 hours a day, which is one of the few official sites where this is required, by the way. If you've never seen that statue, go see it. It's fantastic. It was on this date in 1969, 56 years ago, National Education Television, the predecessor to the public broadcasting service in the United States, debuts with Sesame Street. In May 1970, a state commission in Mississippi voted to not air the show on the state's newly launched public television network. A member of the commission leaked the vote to the New York Times, stating that Mississippi was not ready for the show's integrated cast. Cooney called the ban a tragedy for both the white and black children of Mississippi. The state commission reversed its decision after the vote made national news, so it put a little pressure on them. It was on this date in 1975, 50 years ago, a 729-foot-long freighter SS Edmund Fitzgerald sinks during a storm on Lake Superior, killing all 29 crew on board.
An air and sea search is continuing for possible survivors of the Edmund Fitzgerald, a 729-foot ore carrier, which apparently broke apart and sunk last night on Lake Superior. The ship and its 29-man crew vanished in a storm with 80-mile-an-hour winds and wave heights up to 25 feet. All that has been found is an oil slick and some debris.
You assume the ship has gone down. Is there now any hope for survivors at all?
Well, it would seem very dim at this point, with almost 24 hours that they've been in the water, 50-degree water. You don't normally survive much longer than 3 to 4 hours.
On this date in 1983, 44 years ago, Bill Gates introduced Windows 1.0, and we cuss him ever since. All right, celebrating birthdays today. Well, we're celebrating the memorial of birthdays today. Richard Burton was born on this date in 1925. He died at the age of 58 in 1984. Burton nominated for an Academy Award 7 times, but never won one. He was the recipient of BAFTA's Golden Globes and the Tony Awards for Best Actor. In the mid-1960s, Burton ascended into the ranks of the top box office stars. By the late 60s, Burton was one of the highest-paid actors in the world, receiving fees of $1 million or more, plus a share of the gross receipts of his films. Also born on this date in 1932, Roy Scheider. He lived until 73, passed away in 2008. He was, of course, Chief Martin Brody on the Jaws series of films. There you go. That's a look at history, birthdays, all that kind of fun stuff. We've got partly cloudy skies in our forecast today. Temperatures in the 50s. We're at 42 in downtown Wenatchee. By the way, thanks to our supporting sponsor here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, as well as the NCWLIFE channel, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Turn to the experts at Alpine Air for heated air. Call Alpine Air. We'll take a break, come back. Mike McNaughty with his opinion. Also, we'll have an update on what's happening with Serve Wenatchee Valley. It's all right here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Mow, dig, haul, trench. The reliable Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor is highly capable, A smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation and versatile attachments that help you handle the job. The Kubota BX Series is the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. Talk to your Kubota dealer to schedule a demo.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, for a number of reasons, some I don't need to name, there is a good deal of strife and animosity between Christians and those they are supposed to be showing Jesus to. You know, I wonder if the militant Christian nationalist movement is aware of how significantly they are turning those away who they're supposed to be showing Christ's grace and mercy to. These folks instead are being turned into enemies of the church, not enemies of Jesus. Let me make that clear. So I will say again, as I have many times, look at Jesus, not his followers. And once again, I'll give this advice. If you want to know what Jesus and not some of his followers want you to know, read the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5-7, good stuff. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
Merry Maids can clean your entire home, business, or vacation rental from top to bottom, inside and out. Merry Maids will even take care of cleaning your carpets, and they can pressure wash your home. Merry Maids has thousands of happy customers. They've been cleaning homes and businesses in our valley for over 25 years. Check out their glowing reviews at merrymaidesofwenatchee.com and call the cleaning experts, Merry Maids, to get your free estimate. Your satisfaction is guaranteed, so relax. It's done.
A kitchen that makes mouths water and jaws drop. A bedroom from a dream with a bath from a spa. A walk-in you'd never want to walk out of. A pool like the fountain of youth, and a view that never gets old. When buying or selling a home of the highest standards, it's comforting to be represented by a real estate company with standards to match. Coldwell Banker Global Luxury. Live well with Coldwell.
About 19 minutes left of the program here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Eric Granstrom filling in for Dan Kuntz here on a Monday, the 10th of November, 2025. And, well, time to share some good news, finally. It seems like it's been a lot of bad news lately. We've got Mike Malmin, who is the Executive Director of Serve Wenatchee Valley, in the studio. Mike, unfortunately, here last month, you guys had a big flood. Where are we now?
October 7th, our place was totaled, essentially, our Rondo Avenue place. We are reopened. We were able to reopen on the 1st, or actually, last Monday, so the 3rd, whatever that was. We were able to open on the 3rd, which is great because it came 2 days after the snap shut down. And so just getting back up and running last week was a big deal for us. We're at our new temporary location, 850 North James in East Wenatchee, the old Trinity United Methodist Church. And we're seeing increased clients coming in. It's been pretty intense, a lot of lineup with all that's been going on with the government and that. The response from this community, I imagine
On the one hand, you're probably not surprised, but on the other hand, it always blows me away.
Yeah, you know, we help thousands of people every year, and I think people have become pretty aware of what we do in the community. We're entirely privately funded, and so we had an amazing outpouring of support. We had lots of organizations not even call us, but do food drives for us, show up with lots of food to replace all of our food that was destroyed at our grocery market in the flood. Cash donations, people praying for us, people reaching out to us, blessing staff. It's been remarkable. It's been remarkable.
Where are you on insurance and reimbursement and all that kind of stuff?
It's funny you ask. You know, we last week it's been. I mean, you know, a fire main broke in our building, and it's been like drinking out of a fire hose ever since. And so our emphasis has been getting up and going. That was job one, was to get up and going, because we have a lot of people who depend on us for our services. And so we worked hard to get up and going. We did get up and going, and now we're turning our focus to getting all of the insurance claims in. If you've ever been through anything like this before, it's a little bit onerous. You have to list everything damaged, everything lost. Fortunately, my team was in there with cameras, you know, the day after, getting pictures of everything. We've had lots of donations of like office furniture and that kind of thing to get us back up and running at our location. And that's been a good thing. So I anticipate here the next week and a half or so we'll have most of our insurance stuff in.
You talk about taking the video and the cameras and stuff of you know, what you had. Do you imagine with a volunteer organization like that, and when you're getting donations of food and such, do you keep a constant inventory of what you have, or is it kind of, this is what's on the shelves right now, or you're just constantly shuffling that out?
Groceries are a little trickier. Obviously, the things that are easier. We lost half our technology that really runs, you know, any business in 2025, you know that if your technology goes down, well, we were, you know, several weeks without technology and accessing our database and whatnot. The food is kind of a constant rotating cycle. We have a rough idea of what was in the building when we lost all our refrigeration. There were 4 commercial display units like you'd see at a grocery store in there. One of them, 800-pound unit, was picked up and floated. So, you know, that stuff we're in the process of replacing. It won't fit at our current location, so we're using home models for refrigeration. But it's been good. It's been good.
Next steps, aside from getting up and running, which is fantastic that you're able to turn it around that fast, and it takes an army, I know, to do that. But I know Thanksgiving is around the corner and knocking on the door, and I know that Serve Wenatchee Valley also serves a lot of folks for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, next steps for us is getting up and running with our seasonal events. And we, you know, if a flood were to happen, it could not have picked a worse time. For us, October is Coats for Kids. We pulled that off. We supplied pretty much every coat that was requested from all of the school districts. Coming up here, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, we have Baskets of Blessing. We'll be providing meals for 500 families. Would feed a couple thousand people that day with a fresh Thanksgiving meal. So our fundraising campaign is going on there. All of our food has been ordered, so we are full speed ahead with that event in November. And then in December, we have our our Glory of Christmas event to provide gifts for children and teens. And so that will take place in December at the Nazarene Church, and we'll provide Christmas gifts for close to 300 children at that event.
I know the NCW Community Toy Drive is huge for providing a lot of those gifts to help you with those Christmas blessings. I guess one good thing is that, I mean, this didn't also impact the toys because NCW Toy Drive stores the toys for you.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And, you know, it was really funny. Like the week after, we had a toy pickup from their warehouse, and we have a separate warehouse space that wasn't impacted by the flood. But just going over there, and I've been so proud of our staff and our volunteers, because we've basically been full speed ahead while we get back up and running. And if you'd told me we'd be up and running from a flood that destroyed most everything we had at our central location within a little over 3 weeks, I would have told you that's a miracle. And it was a miracle. And so it's you know, the fact that we are now helping people, we've increased our food output, and all of our events are going ahead as planned is miraculous.
On this Monday, we also heard, we were talking about it before we went on the air today, that government shutdown looks like it might be ending, which is great. You talked about SNAP and that kind of put on hold while the government shutdown was going on. So what do you need now? What's the biggest push for people that are watching this and say, hey, I want to help out? What do you need?
Well, we've been, food has been good for us because people have been responding to that. People don't realize the only thing, we don't just do food. And so really right now, especially this time of year with the cold weather, one of the areas that people could help us out the most is with our rental assistance program. And you can go to our webpage and find it and donate there, because we're working hard to help people who are, in transitional housing find permanent housing during this time of year. We got some great programs in place that help people who can pay rent get into a rental by helping them with their deposit in last month's rent, if that's the only thing prohibiting them from getting in. And so donating to those programs right now, they're sort of the invisible programs during this flood, because people were thinking food, and of course what was going on with SNAP and whatnot was at the front of the news. So helping us out with housing right now is a huge thing.
Okay, and I guess I should back up. I always we assume way too much here in the Wenatchee Valley, that everybody knows what Serve Wenatchee is. So we should have started with that, Mike. Sorry about that. But just for those that might be tuning in for the first time, we got a lot of people that are moving here. Tell us, generally speaking, Serve Wenatchee Valley.
We're a Christian organization that is a collection of individuals, businesses, and churches that come together to meet needs in our community. We pride ourselves in being what we call a homelessness prevention program. We think the best way to address homelessness is by helping to keep people in their existing housing. And so we help year-round with food, we help with emergency stopgap rental assistance, we help with the rental deposit assistance, and we have a furniture warehouse where if you identify a rental, we can help you get a bed and a dresser and a sofa and get that into whatever housing you find, so that you have furniture while you're there.
I love the model too, where it's a hand up and not a hand out necessarily.
Yeah, I think our rental deposit assistance program is a classic example for us. These are people who are just right at the poverty level. They can pay rent. They can afford a rental in this valley. What they can't afford is the deposit and last month's rent. So simply helping them with that is a big deal, because these are people who have shown an ability to work, a desire to work. We've had great results with it. We've interviewed people who have gone through it. It's sustainable. We're excited about that.
So if there's somebody out there that wants to write a big check, I'm looking at you right now. We're coming to the end of the year. Yeah. I mean, it's a write-off for 2025. Yeah. Right at Serve Wenatchee Valley, you have the ability to take an electronic payment.
Yep. If you go to our website, servewenatchee.org, you'll see not only our address where you could mail a check, but you'll also see a place where you can click. You can click on our Campaign for Hope, which is our general fund, and just give to anything. If you go to a Give page, you can see individual initiatives we have running where you can give to those specifically.
And again, just to double up on what we're talking about, is that everybody's known Serve Wenatchee Valley in the current location or the past location in downtown Wenatchee. Now you're in East Wenatchee.
We are in East Wenatchee, at least temporarily.
Okay.
As we get our space back up and running, our permanent space back up and running again. We're right on the bus line at East Wenatchee, so that's good for our clients. We're just above Eastmont Junior High there in the old United Methodist Church, so it's a good place to be. I think the other thing I would add is this. People don't realize, I talk about what Serve Wenatchee does. One of the things people don't realize, we don't get any government funding. And so we didn't have food curtailed to us because we didn't have government resource for food. But we are constantly providing food simply on the goodwill of people in this community. We are Valley people helping Valley people. And so that's a major thing for us.
Well, Mike, congratulations on what you've done, and thanks to everybody for helping, recoup what you lost. And I know that is ongoing, but we wish you the best of luck here coming up for the holidays, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. Mike Malmin with Serve Wenatchee Valley. Again, at servewenatcheevalley.org if you want to find out more about that. We'll take a break, come back, wrap up the program here for this 10th of November 2025. Coming up, it's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
NCWLIFE channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCWLIFE would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
When flooding hit Serve Wenatchee, their office and Fresh Hope Market were devastated. But their mission to help prevent homelessness in this valley hasn't stopped, and neither will we. I'm Todd McLaughlin, General Manager at Apple Valley Honda. Now through the end of the year, we're donating $25 to Serve Wenatchee every time someone takes a test drive. And if you happen to buy a vehicle, we'll give an additional $100 in your name. Because when our neighbors are in need, this community steps up, and we're proud to be part of that.
Is your yard outdated, overgrown, or just not working for your lifestyle? At Bailey's Pro Landscaping, they specialize in transforming ordinary outdoor spaces into beautiful, low-maintenance landscapes built for Central Washington living. From custom designs to full installation, they bring expertise, creativity, and craftsmanship to every job. Your yard has potential. Start your project with Bailey's Pro Landscaping.
Welcome to Bliss. Population U. This is the you that appreciates the warmth of a good coat and the fit of a purposeful boot. At Coastal, we want to be your partner in finding your bliss. We are hopeful and helpful because we're about this community. So when you're looking for a place called Bliss, trust Coastal, your country lifestyle superstore. Coastal, we're just what the country needs.
And thanks again to Mike Malmin from Serve Wenatchee Valley for joining us here on a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Just a couple of minutes left of the program here today as far as your forecast as we head back to work here today. It's looking at kind of a mixed bag today. Not bad for the first part of the week, and then the last half of the week is rather forgettable. 54 our expected high today. We will have some sun breaks this morning. There might be a couple of sprinkles through there. Probably probably more so in the shoulder areas of the valley as far as the higher elevations. 54 the high today, 39 the overnight low tonight. Going to feel brisk with tomorrow's forecast for Veterans Day. Sunny and a high of 53. So it should be a nice, dry, kind of lovely day for a parade tomorrow for Veterans Day. Starts at 11 o'clock in downtown Wenatchee. 40 the overnight low tomorrow night. And then Wednesday, here comes the change with clouds moving in, and they say about an 80% chance of rain on Wednesday. 52 the expected high, 43 the overnight low. Thursday is going to be really windy with more of this system moving into the Wenatchee Valley with temperatures about 53 on Thursday. Lots of rain expected again for the day before. Partly sunny on Friday, a few showers in the afternoon and evening hours just in time for a playoff football. 51 the high on Friday, 37 the overnight low, and then Saturday and Sunday temperatures around 49 degrees for the high with 60% chance of rain through the whole weekend. So wet weekend. Also, as you get into the mountain passes by the latter part of the week, expect lots of snow. So we'll keep a close eye on the pass conditions if you're planning to travel this weekend, especially on Thursday, Friday. Expecting some snow up in the mountain passes with that snow level coming down. We've already seen the snow kind of hanging above our heads here in the Wenatchee Valley. So just be aware of that. 42 degrees outside our studios here in downtown Wenatchee. And again, thanks for joining us on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for a Monday. How much time we got, Mac? We got a minute here? 40 seconds. Okay. All right. Malcolm Whitehall, our producer extraordinaire behind the scenes here, as I'm almost out of beverages, so we're almost ready to wrap up the show. Seahawks big win yesterday, 44-22 over the Arizona Cardinals. Seahawks kind of for real. They've got a big matchup next weekend, though. They're going to play the Rams. Wenatchee Wild picked up 2 wins over the weekend in Western Hockey League action. I think Austin Drade is a scheduled guest tomorrow. I don't know if Dan will be back tomorrow. I mean, he's a little bit ill, so I might be back again in the saddle. We'll see about that. So thanks for joining us on this 10th of November 2025 for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll gather around the TV and do it again tomorrow. So join us.